Thank you for joining How Michael Lady She podcast. My apology, everyone that's on Instagram. Please go to the YouTube channel. We are live on YouTube, Hot Michael Lady She podcast. Subscribe to the channel. I am going to absolutely share this video on Instagram because she just gave so much and we missed it all. Those who are on YouTube, we absolutely missed all of that. And I am going to make sure that I don't get into my feelings because I'm almost there.
Okay. No
We
feeling.
ain't doing that tonight. We ain't doing that tonight. We're gonna have a good time tonight.
We haven't cried yet.
Yeah, but she's gonna come back on because I can already tell that she's a wealth of knowledge and information because I've already learned something. I already learned about WIC, y'all. But listen, I'm excited. I know that when she comes back on, we are going to be next to each other in a real interview setting, and we're gonna make this thing happen. And we're gonna learn more about, what the life of a doula is, and her journey into being a doula. So let me tap back in. So thus far, Danielle has shared that she went to college for English. I don't know why.
Am I still pixelated? I'm just curious.
Just a little bit. We can see your face. It's just, I can just tell.
Okay.
So thus far, she shared, she's from Suffolk County, New York, raised in a 2-parent household. She just shared with us, details connected to her dad passing away in her junior year, and just making it known that her mother was not ignorant, to her being, biracial. And I thought that was great for her to share. A lot is going on in our community. So we got to start being real and having a real hard conversation, when it comes to things. And so I wanted to ask you, because you used the word racist and then you said it's not a bad thing. Yeah. Now, there's a difference between racist and being discriminatory.
Yeah.
Do you think you mean discriminatory can be something that is connected to ignorance? Because to me, when I think of racist, like, you absolutely know that you don't like Black people. Now, someone who is discriminatory can say something that's ignorant because it's not their world, so it could be offensive. And I can say, they're discriminating against me because they didn't allow this. But a race is like, listen, this is what it is. I don't rock with y'all. I will never. I don't care if your mama white, because your daddy Black. I don't deal with it. Yeah. So do you think there's a difference, or, that's how you feel?
I think that discrimination is the action behind racism. But I think that to call someone, when I say that I don't think that all racists are bad, I mean that I find people don't even know that they are racist.
It's the environment.
Even to address that. Or sometimes the opening line of like, I'm not racist, but, right? What's coming after that but is absolutely racist.
You
but
killed it, yeah.
They are not racist, but you are practicing racism, right? Mm-hmm. You are allowing your thoughts to be different based on a particular person's background. So I think that it's not impossible for someone who has a racist way of thinking to be educated and to be enlightened. There are some folks that are going to hate people no matter what they learn about them.
CSV?
Told, what they see, right?
I'm sorry?
I said, because I can't see it. That's what I'm saying.
So sorry.
So that's not gonna, some things are not gonna change, but I believe that it is possible for people who have a racist mindset to be enlightened and to come to terms with how some of that thinking is racist if they don't know it. Because I have come across people who genuinely do not think, would be offended if you would say such a thing. I'm not racist. It's come with such negative connotation where it just means that you don't have a clue, and maybe if you did, we wouldn't have to say that you're acting racist.
Yeah. You just don't want to have to deal with it, because the word, it's like I was speaking about marriage and submission on one of the episodes, and I'm like, people act like submission is a curse word. Like, why? And I just honestly didn't get it. So sometimes I understand what you're saying. using that word, they're like, wait, what? And they don't get it. So that's part of what our job is at times. I won't say it's our job per se, but it can be a part of our job if you are in that setting or if you've experienced it in that moment to educate someone saying, listen, this is what makes that racist.
Yes.
This is what's behind that. So
Yes.
that is what makes it racist. So this
Yes.
is why I'm saying you are a racist, or you are racist for doing what you just did or saying what you just said.
Yes.
Okay, you don't understand it, so let me educate you on why that is this. You
Exactly.
can't tell me that it's not. I'll
Exactly.
let you know that it is. So, thank you so much for sharing that. So now I love that you said your daughter acknowledges or feels that she gets the trophy for, I'm the reason that my mother shifted her life. So now you get your degree as an English teacher. When did you start? When did you meet? When did mom tell you about the penny saver with the job? Because I'm gonna go back into that. I really want the people to hear what we just heard. Thank you for joining. Join us on How Micro Lady She Podcast on YouTube, guys. Go ahead, Danielle.
So this was in 2010.
How old were you?
This was in 2011. This was in 2010, I believe, because I don't know if my daughter had reached a year yet. I was 23.
23. Okay. So this is your first child at 23.
It's my first child at 23.
Now, were you married, and what was your dynamics with that?
I was with my daughter's father. We were in a long-standing relationship. We were not married by the courts, but we were married by the heart. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right now with the there's some people that's like, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, I had my own struggles, like I kind of shared before. I was at the point where breastfeeding was failing. My daughter was losing weight. My pediatrician told me I was starving my baby. I had pretty much given up, and I had went into what they call a state of shock, which is when you go through something very traumatic, and literally my actual chest was rock solid and would not allow anything to come out, and so
it literally feels like cement. People, the ladies that's going through this know exactly what she's talking about. Yeah. It is no joke. It is no joke.
That's Thanks where I found myself, and I found a support group at St. Charles where I had delivered my daughter. And I remember I was in such bad shape I couldn't drive because mentally I was just
checked out.
I was checked out.
Yeah.
We can get back to this, but I had also had a C-section with my daughter, which was also, there was like a spiraling failure feeling going on between the C-section and now the breastfeeding failing. So
I got you.
To make a long story short, right? I go to the support group. My mother drives me. I go down there. I start sharing, and I just start crying and crying and crying. And I look up, and everybody in the room is crying, right? And
I felt that.
Everyone told me, "Listen, we've been here. Don't give up. You got this. We feel for you.
Thanks for joining.
Immense amount of support.
Hot Mic with Lady Sheep Podcast, guys. I'm so sorry. You can go right on. We are live right now. Please subscribe. Yeah, you have to go on. You have to go on to YouTube so you can hear her. Go ahead. I'm so sorry, Danielle.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So it was just this outpouring of support from these strangers, right? But we're mothers and we're vulnerable and have been exactly where I was at that moment. So at that time, the nurse who was running the group, she happened to be a nurse that I had come in contact with when I had delivered my daughter, and the group was in the hospital. And she said, "Listen, I got to go back to my shift, but I want you to come upstairs with me real quick, and we're going to see what we can do." And she took me upstairs. Her name is Eileen Lamana. I always give her credit too, because she was the one that told me after she helped me that day. And she got me into a place where I was successful with breastfeeding. And I kept coming back to the meetings. And she told me, "You have something. You have a gift. And you need to become something in breastfeeding." She was trying to push me to be a nurse. And she said, "But whatever you do, I don't want you to stop helping people with
Love
the
it." She saw. I promise you, sometimes it takes a stranger to see what you cannot see and what those
I was
close
like,
knit
right?
can see. Oh my gosh, it
Exactly.
gave me chills.
That is not what I wanted to do, right? I was so stuck. I always thought I was going to be a teacher. You know, I used to line my dolls up and have them
But
raise
you are.
their hands, right? Yes,
You're teaching.
I didn't realize, you know, we get so stuck in ourselves, right? That I
Hmm.
couldn't see what was ahead of me, that I was a teacher. It just wasn't going to be English, right?
Right. Come on.
It wasn't going to be kids, but that there was actually a bigger role that I was destined for, that was going to
Absolutely.
actually probably make me even more fulfilled. Even though I still love working with kids. Everybody who knows me knows I love the kids and I love my
She led the
children,
children.
right? Love the children. But there is something, being in that moment, being able to support women and new moms and even teenage moms, young moms, because I was down in that place, because I was so down and out. I can always go back there with them and know that it just felt like such a relief that someone took a minute to show me that they cared and to just help.
Yes.
And it literally changed my life. Like
I love
literally changed my
this.
life, right? Not even that phrase gets thrown out there a lot. Literally changed the course of my life.
I
So
love
to
it.
be able to have that opportunity to be the person giving the support is something that I can't even I couldn't even give you the words to describe how wonderful that feels. Really.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Wow. All right. So now you have your first baby. What was it like? First of all, I had my son at 23 as well, excuse me. And I think I was checked out the whole time. Like literally the whole time. Like I know through the pregnancy, I was operating like it wasn't actually gonna to happen. Like it wasn't actually gonna happen. I just was getting dressed. My stomach was getting bigger. I'm like, okay, gotta buy big clothes. But I don't think it really was started to kick in until like late. Um, what was that like being young? I'm assuming your boyfriend at the time was around the same age as you.
Yes,
You
he was
know,
3 years older, but he's a guy.
what was the discussions like when you came to grips to understand I'm about to be a mom? What was that like?
I think that he was very supportive. He was very understanding, and he was more. I think he had a faith in me, that he knew how I was, my maturity, and how I was with. I was very maternal way before the baby
Gotcha.
even existed, right? Before that was even a thought. I think that he had a lot of faith that I was going to be fine. I think he was more concerned about him and what he was going to bring to the table as far as teaching and
Hmm.
who he was. But we always joked around, because when I first found out, it was a surprise, and I was still in my party mode. I was young, right? And he was like, we can go on Maury. I'll deny the baby, because at the time, Maury, I know that
What? I'm like, wait, what?
so Maury was like, I used to call it my daily dose of ignorance, because I would just wake
Oh.
up if I was home and watch Maury and be like, yo, look at these folks, right? And it was like my guilty pleasure, because I felt bad telling people that I love Maury as much as I did. And so he thought that would make me feel better. Like
I'm
he's like,
cracking up.
I'll run off the stage and I'll do the dance, like,
You'll do
there
the
goes
flip.
my baby. And I was like, I
And
don't
you
think
get the
that's
check
real.
for it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't
He
think that's real.
is funny.
But yeah, no, I think that we also had we had a love that I feel like we knew we get through it, and that we would, and we did.
Right.
And
I
we did.
love it. All right. All right. All right. So now you're a mom. You're 23 years old. I guess you have it in your thoughts of how the pregnancy is going to go.
Yes.
And when I say that, I mean you had it thinking that you were going to have a vaginal,
Yes.
um, full term
Yes.
pregnancy, and that did not happen.
No.
So now you're like, I was checked out. My breasts now. I'm going through this. My body's in shock. What came next? You
Um,
meet this group. You go to this group,
go to this
right?
group, get this help, um, get on track. My daughter starts breastfeeding beautifully. She's growing. I got the hang of it, and then I immediately went into who am I gonna help mode.
I love it. Now, wait, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Because I want people to really understand the visualization. When you're going into shock, you're checked out. First of all, you're young. 23 is young. I don't care what nobody say. Some people be like, well, since I was 18, I've been grown. And no, calm down.
No.
There's a lot you need to learn in your 20s. Okay? There's a lot. You're still learning. So you're 23, and now you realize you're going through this change with your body. You encounter this group that basically changes, shifts everything.
Everything.
What happened with your body physically, and what did you do where you started to have this calmness and you were able to breastfeed again? Because some people just end up quitting and it is heartbroken. Like that happened to me, my second child.
I think that once I saw my daughter getting milk from me, immediately my body had this release of like all those thoughts of failure and starvation and you're doing a terrible job. Immediately it was like,
love it. Yeah.
Like, and this feeling, I feel like I gave up a lot of things prior to that. And
what's that mean?
When I say that, I say if maybe things got too hard or I didn't feel like I liked it, I'd be like, oh well, like
you're not dealing with it.
On to the next. I'm not dealing with this. No.
Oh, gotcha.
I think this was one of the first things that something in me would absolutely not let me give up.
Love it.
And because of this feeling of you can't give up, you don't have a choice, I think that I loved my daughter more than I loved myself. Wow. And because of that, that was the first time that I really, truly, wholeheartedly followed through with something that was really, really hard to me. Yeah. And I think that that's why I couldn't give up, because it was bigger than me. And I had never experienced that until I became a mother of something that was bigger than me, or maybe just didn't pay attention. I don't know. So because there was this immediate relief when she started breastfeeding. And from there it just got better and better. And then as it got better and better and she was growing and thriving and doing well, I immediately went into who am I going to help mode. And I just remember toting her around. And every time I see someone about to have a baby or his, I'm like, are you going to breastfeed?
Are you going to breastfeed? It's like part of the script now.
Like, yo, what is wrong with this girl? And I just couldn't help myself. I was like, you know how like you ever see someone that like is like a new Christian, right?
Yeah, like, I was gonna say that. Like it's like when you first start going to church, you get saved.
It was like that, except like with boobs, right? I was like I was the same way, right? Nobody's even talking about breastfeeding, right? They're like, oh, did you see they open up an IHOP? I'm like, you know what you can do at IHOP? You can breastfeed your baby and you can eat some pancakes.
He's like, you know, they got the new covers for us now. Yeah, like, exactly. It's us. They got the new covers. You ain't breastfeeding no more, but they got the new covers for us. Did you see it?
So
I love it.
Any opportunity I had to throw out breastfeeding, you best believe I did. I
love this.
I did.
I love it. Listen, I wish I had her, my second child, because I cried like a baby. And my husband my now husband, but I promise you, Danielle, child, I needed you, child. I'm getting chills right now thinking about it because I was depressed. Yeah. I promise you. When my first son, I enjoyed breastfeeding. And let me say this. Let me ask you this, matter of fact.
Okay.
I remember, he might get mad at me. I remember when I was breastfeeding my first son, he would get jealous. Like, because the baby was in that area.
Your husband would get jealous?
Well, he's my husband now.
Okay.
But back then, he would be feeling some type of way. I was like, shoot. And he want to cuddle, and he like...
Get this baby out of here.
He was like, come on, I know he's my kid and all, but Sam, you all in my space. Did you have to go through that?
No, I personally didn't go through that.
Man.
I'm sorry. I didn't, because my philosophy is that the whole family benefits from breastfeeding.
I know that's a fact.
Right? So, no, there was never like a jealousy component, because to me, everyone boobs served their purpose for everyone accordingly.
In that time slot, right?
Yeah. So
listen, maybe that's why my baby was so daggone big.
That wasn't your time slot, sir. You know, if the baby, it wasn't your time, you're gonna have to make an appointment and wait for the
That's probably why the doctor was like, listen, he's getting too big too fast. Maybe I had him up there too much. And that's why
Yeah. So
Big
maybe
Man was
that's
getting
why he was
upset.
jealous because he never got his time with the boobies, and that's why. And so maybe you created that.
I
Maybe you
love
have
you,
to take
babe. I love you,
accountability
babe.
for that. Okay,
But yeah,
so
that second child, listen, when I was super excited, you know, he latched on at the hospital. I'm like, yay, I'm so happy he's good. And something happened where he cut me and it was a wrap. As soon as he tasted the blood, he was like, peace, chick.
I'm
And
done
I
with that.
promise you, tears were just coming down my face. I'm like, please, someone do something. Talk to him. Do something. I wanted, and it was over. It was over. I was heartbroken. Heartbroken.
So
Crazy.
so a lot of people don't know that failing or having trouble with breastfeeding and the depression rates go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So that's why often you'll hear some of these things thrown out there like, oh, breastfeeding helps with postpartum depression, like, but they don't really give you why that is. And so breastfeeding, not only if you wanted to do it and it's not going well, does that mess with your head, but also the act of breastfeeding releases endorphins that make mom feel happy.
Say
So
that.
often, if you go from breastfeeding to not very quickly, especially in that early phase where your hormones are still trying to regulate, it can be very taxing on your emotions, and it can make moms feel depressed,
Yeah.
and
You hear that, fellas?
it can really mess
Give
with
us
you.
grace. Okay?
Yes,
We're going through things.
something I always say. I can't see who's on right now, but there was a lot of past clients that I asked.
Nicole Bowen is shouting you out.
Okay, yeah, that's one of my
She
clients,
said she
right?
helped me.
Yeah,
Best doula down there.
oh
That's
yeah, no,
cool.
she's a badass too, though. I always tell her that, like, and so I think that something people have to realize is that you have to be gentle with yourself during this time. And I always repeat that to my clients, to be gentle
Love
with yourself,
that.
please, because especially if it's your first baby, it's something you've never experienced before. It's emotions you've never experienced before. It's a change you've never experienced before. But even if it's not your first baby, right?
Right.
The baby being born, we really have a fourth trimester that we enter into, and that it's a sacred time where you are coming to terms with the new life. You are coming to terms with your new self. You are coming to terms with what you want to do and what you don't want to do, or what you perceived things were going to look like, and maybe they didn't look like that.
Right.
And I think that I try to be as realistic as possible with women, right? That it's not always going to be the sun is shining and the bird sitting on your shoulder and you're breastfeeding your baby and everything. It's not always going to go like that, because that's just not how life works.
Right.
And I want women to realize that if something's going wrong, it's not necessarily a reflection of you as a
Right.
mother, right?
Yeah.
There's things that sometimes just go awry, and that, most of the time, if you care that much to cry, that means that you are doing the right thing.
Come on in here with the bars. Say that again. Say that
Right?
one
Because
again.
if you're
If you care
crying,
enough.
then maybe not. But if you care enough to cry, more likely than not, you are on the right track to being a great mother, which means
Oh, I
that
love that. Y'all felt that? Listen, I love that was bars. Like what? That was good, Danielle. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for saying that. That was bars. I love that you said there's a fourth trimester, excuse me. I love that. That was good. What? Stop playing out here. Stop playing out here, booby doctor.
I
Stop
know
playing.
folks are like walking past, like, yo, what are you saying?
They're like, what's happening?
What's
Tell
happening?
them to subscribe. That's okay. Tell them to
I
subscribe
know,
to
exactly.
YouTube.
Like, you can see me if you want to go home and hear.
You want to hear the rest of our breast?
Yes, I know. That's why I'm like, I'm throwing out all kinds of things. Look, I don't care. Oh well.
I'm cracking up. No, but that line right there, that gave me chills. Like I felt all of that, because, and this is why I wanted to come on, because I really want people to understand this is not like a fad that's just happening. This is something that is so vital, especially to our community. I want to ask you this, right? let me go back. So you have your own situation connected to being checked out and having a C-section. So
Mm-hmm.
you became what you needed at the time for
Mm-hmm.
other women, correct?
Yes.
I'll say other families because it's not just about the mom.
No,
It's
it's
the whole dynamics of the family, correct?
yes. Yes. The whole
Yeah,
everyone benefits when mom is supported and heard.
right.
Everyone. So
Everyone.
yeah, it's not just about the mom. No,
Right.
everyone benefits. And when I became a postpartum doula is when I really saw things come full circle in terms of there's a lot more support when you're pregnant. You know, you go to a lot of doctor's appointments, everybody asks you how you're doing. Sometimes folks want to buy you food and do all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's almost this abrupt stop after that.
Right, right.
And the shift focuses now on the baby. And not saying that we don't care about these new little babies. We always love them and they smell great and they're cute and all
Oh, they
that.
smell so yummy.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Delicious. They smell delicious.
Oh yeah.
But the mom is still there.
Right.
And the mom, what we call in postpartum world is mothering the mother, right? And being there for the family. When I go into a household and I support the family, not just the mother. When mom's doing good, everybody's doing good.
Right.
Husband's doing better, right?
Right.
Because he's not on edge about his wife being on edge or not having enough help. The siblings do well because they see that mom is taking care of herself, especially for the
Right.
daughters that have the opportunity to see, oh, you're not supposed to just take it all on and and suffer in silence. No,
Say that, Danielle.
asking for support is not a sign of weakness. To me,
Help somebody.
it's a sign that you are strong enough to know I
Yes.
shouldn't have to do this on my own. I don't want to do this on my own because ultimately I will be the one to suffer. And
Right.
I tell folks a lot, you are the sun. When it comes to the mom, you are the sun, you are the center. And if the sun goes out, it's a wrap for
It's
these.
a wrap.
It's a
Oh, I
wrap.
love that. That's another bar. Listen, she is dropping jewels. I love it. I love it. That is
It's the
absolutely
truth.
awesome.
It's
It is the
absolutely
truth.
the
I
truth.
promise you I got chills. I promise you. Yes. Then yeah. You better do it. Do it, sis. Do it, queen. I love this. So now you are who you needed at 23 years old
Yes.
when you were a new mom.
Yeah.
What is it like? First of all, let me ask this
Okay.
because I had shared with my husband and I did a challenge, and in the book we were reading, and to married couples or those who with significant others, please look at this book. It is by Michael Todd. He's a pastor, and it was a 30-day challenge for relationships, right? And so we went live, and I shared. Before you came on and I was, doing me, I was sharing how I'm excited about March and all you amazing women that are coming on. I know that it's God that He's intentional with all He does, and He's been strategic with the women that He's had me bring on. So that's why I thank you personally. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I see why, because you are blessing me tonight. So with that, during the live, I shared that we went through trauma being newlyweds. My mom passed a little over a month after we got married.
Wow.
And then we lost a daughter, our daughter, months after she passed in the same year. So with that, I was like, do I share what happened to me? And God just unctioned me to say yes. And so in that, I had a horrible miscarriage. I thought everything was going to be okay, and it wasn't. I actually coded, and my husband realized that if he wasn't there, they would have let me die.
Wow.
And so he started looking at things on social media, realizing that the death rate between us and other cultures is like, okay, it's crazy. And so I said to him, I said, you know what? I said, we're going to be good. We're going to make it through this. I said, but I'm feeling such an unction to do something for other mothers. I was like, I would love to be a doula. I just said it. I'm like, I would love to be a doula. And then I just started looking at stuff on social media, and I would be in tears. I'm like, I want to love on people and help them understand it's okay and to get you through this. And you don't have to feel, because when I had my first son, I felt violated by the
Yes.
staff first of all, I look like this. I'm 43. So at 23, I look 12. So they were treating me like a child who just got
Yeah.
knocked up. It
Yeah.
was really, really traumatic for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, people should not feel that way. You know, it should be in a beautiful time. It's not right. It's not fair. And then here comes the doulas. And every time I see you guys, I feel healed. I feel whole. I feel this great energy. And I'm just like, but how do you do it? What do you go through to become a doula? So please explain to us the actual steps from where you became, you're still the booby girl, but from where you became, mother of the boobs
Love
to
of the boobs.
now, huh? What'd you say?
Lover of the boobs to lover of
Lover
the
of the
boobs,
boobs,
right?
lover of the boobs to being trained or taught or certified rather into being a doula. Explain if you can, as much as you can, please explain what the steps are. I'm gonna bless somebody tonight. Amen.
What
We're gonna
the
bless somebody.
Yes. Okay, so I was trained through the Long Island Doula Association to be a postpartum doula first.
Okay.
And it was funny because when I signed up for the training, I actually thought I was signing up for the birth training. And it wasn't until I got to the training that I realized this was not the birth training.
It
But
was
then
God.
I was in it and I was like, you know what? Let me see what this is about, because I was used to going into people's houses after they had the baby with the breastfeeding stuff. So the people that were doing the training at the times, they were the founders of the Long Island Doula Association. They had already been mentors to me from the events that I would see throughout the county. So I had a really good rapport with them, and I had a lot of respect for them as well. So I end up taking the postpartum doula training. Then I was kind of like, I don't know if I really want to be a doula. I like to stay in my breastfeeding lane, right? I like coming in. I knew so much about breastfeeding. I felt so confident in that stance, but I didn't know as much about being a doula, and I
Right.
didn't know um, how was I going to be able to serve these women with that same confidence and that same love and passion. What if I didn't love it, right? Because
Oh.
I kept putting it off. I was like, I can't love it that much because I keep putting it off.
Right, right,
Um,
right. That's how we tell ourselves stuff. We talk ourselves out of things, but look at her now. Go ahead.
I talked myself out of this training um, until the death started getting more public.
Wow.
Until I felt like it was the universe's direct hit to me, saying, are you going to continue and run away from what I have called you to do?
Come on.
And so, after report after report, and seeing this mom was in the hospital and this mom died and this, I said, I can no longer ignore this call.
Yeah.
They released a scholarship for Black doulas
Come
through
on,
Long Island
God.
Doula Association. I went and took the training and immediately was upset with myself for putting it off.
Waiting. Come on. Get her, God. Sicker, sicker, sicker.
I was like, why do you
I
do this?
love it. I
Why do you
love
do this
it.
to yourself? Right? I'm
I
good
love
for it. I'm
it.
good for it.
I love it
And
though.
I fell in love the
Yeah.
same way I fell in love with boobies. I fell in love with birth, right? And I remember my first birth, trying to keep it together, because the first time you really see someone give birth, it really is shocking. But I couldn't look shocked. But in my head, I was like,
What?
yo, what is going on?
Right, right, right.
And
Wow.
but I fell in love. There was this feeling when you're there and this baby is entering the world, and you were there to support this person, and then to watch it actually happen. There's like this weird chill in the moment of that baby coming out, and it's like there was something. It got me. There was like,
Yeah.
oh, it got me. Like I would do this every
This
day
is
for the
it.
rest of my life. Like I don't care
Love
if I
it.
do nothing else. I will. I love this feeling, and to see women feel so powerful, feel heard, feel powerful, and that first look, that first scoop up, and that baby to their chest is like there's something
Woo!
really
Don't
magical.
you dare make me cry tonight. Don't
All
you
right, sorry,
even do it.
I told you we
What?
cry.
I got
But yeah,
chills.
so I went through training. through that training, there are certain steps you have to get to be certified, a certain amount of births that you need to have. There are different training outlets. I will say that DONA,
What's the as an acronym?
DONA is they are a governing body of
Okay.
doulas, and they, because there is no necessarily no regulation on doulas, but if they are recognized as, if a training gets that stamp of approval for them, they hold more accreditation because they are doing evidence-based practices, right? So if today you woke up and were like, I'm gonna write a doula
What
course,
what does that look
I'm
like?
trying to get the
Oh, okay.
exact um uh acronym in my head.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I have a little, my brain's a little foggy right now.
It's okay. It's okay. But what does you said they have, what was the last thing you just said? They have
So
what?
Dona will give trainings their stamp of approval, and in order to
National
get
Black Doula Association.
oh, the National Black Doula Association is something totally different.
Oh, someone just put that. Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome, by the way, if anyone wants to check them out. They usually go live every day on Instagram, and you can
Oh, wow.
check them out, and
Okay.
they have really good advice. They have training. They have their own trainings as well, and they are DONA accredited.
Okay.
So when you get that stamp of approval from DONA, that means that these practices are evidence-based, because with breastfeeding, with birth, there's a lot of opinions out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotions on how people feel, what they feel to be true. But I
Mm-hmm.
really try to emphasize to folks that it's not about feelings or opinions when it comes to someone's baby and their life. We want evidence-based practices to continue, because otherwise we will be in more trouble than we are already in, right?
Yeah.
So if you are looking to take the training, if you are looking to become a doula, I encourage you to find a outlet that is DONA accredited, so that way you know that the
Donor
information,
accredited. That was it.
yes,
Okay.
that way you know the information you're getting is not just information that someone that woke up and was like, you know what, I think this works
I
because
want
I've
to do
seen it a
this.
few times,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I feel in my heart. No, it's great to have emotions, it's great to feel, but when it comes to someone's life and their child's life, we want evidence-based practices so that we're not doing more harm than good.
Right. Let me ask you this. I saw a post. I'm hoping that she comes on. A young lady. She's going to school to be a gynecologist, and she has a dope content too. She's awesome. I wish I could think of her name right now, but in any event, she posted something sharing a man who was known as the I don't want to say vagina doctor. He's something, but it's from way back when.
Okay.
And basically, she broke down the things he would allow to happen to us.
Okay.
I can't think. I wish if I said the name, you would know
I
exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He
Um,
was a gynecologist, and he did a lot of studies on Black women in particular without anesthesia.
and it's right, right.
Um,
And he has a nickname or something.
yeah, he. Oh my gosh, I know his name.
I know. I want to throw up.
He actually has
It's gonna come. It's gonna come to me.
he actually has a statue
Right.
in
Mm-hmm.
times in the city in Manhattan.
Yep.
Um, if I think of his name, it will come to me. But yes, because there is a procedure that's named after him, so that's why I'm trying to like
Mm-hmm.
rack into my brain about what that procedure is. But regardless, yeah, we have been. You're bringing it back to a point that I was gonna make later on in the conversation, but we're here, so let's just go
We're
there.
here.
People kept asking me, why was there a disparity with Black women and labor
Mm-hmm.
and delivery and
Mm-hmm.
postpartum?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my white counterparts or even my mentors were coming to me like, what do you think is the problem? Like, what is going on? And I had to let them know that there have been disparities across the board, and healthcare has not.
J. Marion Sims.
Okay, what was the name?
J. Marion Sims.
Okay, so there's something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want to pronounce the name wrong. Farad DJ. I'm sorry I'm butchering your name, but thank you for the information.
Thank you. Yes.
And hey, Khadijah.
Hi, Khadijah.
Hi.
And so there is disparities in healthcare, right, amongst Black people, and then there's disparities with women, right?
Right.
So now we have a double whammy of disparity, with the odds not being in our favor.
Our favor, right.
And the I saw a post once that pretty much compared what was happening with the police in our community to what was happening with GYNs in the labor and
Ooh.
delivery. And that
Listen.
we're not gonna
Come on.
pin all GYNs as completely racist, terrible providers, right? We're not going to do that. However, it's very clear that we can, by looking at the numbers, that something is absolutely wrong and that our voices are not being heard. And it didn't matter if you were young and poor, right? Serena Williams almost died right after she gave birth and was not being heard. Now, I use that example because she is a powerhouse. She is admired. She is rich. She is Black.
Right.
So, and I use that
still
because
Black.
she still was not heard and almost died and had to literally get up, right? And had she not been the athlete that she is, she probably would have died. But she got herself up and said, no, something is wrong. Now, many of our mothers, young especially, Black especially, their voice is non-existent in their day-to-day life. So now we put them in a situation where they must advocate for themselves, and they're not even capable of advocating for themselves on a simpler level.
Right.
And now we are asking for them to advocate for their life. It's not happening.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
So that's where that comes into play, where the history behind there is a distrust with the medical world. It's not unwarranted. There's a reason for that distrust. There's a reason when you hear, yes, we were the ones that were pioneers in gynecological care, but against our will.
Right.
Right. Not because we were the doctors, but because we were the ones that they used to experiment on.
The guinea pigs, yeah.
And so, of course, more people know about the story about Henrietta Lacks, right? The Hella Cell. She was the woman who they could not, pretty much so much of the headway that they made in the medical world with cells and all different kinds of things were because of her cells.
Right.
And her studied them for years all around the world, and her family had no idea, right? And I think that we just have to recognize that these things trickle down to the problems that we're seeing today. And they're not just, so when they ask me, well, why do you think this is? It's because it's always been.
Right.
It's a little bit neater and packaged a little bit better, but it's still, we're seeing the same disparities. We're seeing the same devastation of these women dying during labor and shortly after. And so what can we do?
What can we do?
What can we do? The first step to me is finding a care provider that you truly trust and you believe has your best interest at heart, right? Doing your homework, doing your research. The next thing is finding a doula. No matter where you are, there's plenty of programs that will help if money is an issue for paying for your doula. There's plenty of doulas, even like myself, that will do little to no fee, especially for teen moms in shelters, things like that, right? A doula is your first line of defense to me in labor, in delivery, and postpartum, because often a doula comes with resources that they can point you in the right direction. If it's out of their lane, they can point you into the lane that you need to get into to get the help that you may need. So that's, if the question is going to be, what can we do? That's what we can do. And sometimes people have never heard of a doula, right? They'll be like, yeah, what? Or I always get the doula Amangara joke, like from Waterboy.
Yo, I'm done. Not that joke.
I'm so tired of that joke. I'll be like, oh,
cannot.
it's so funny, right? It's not even the same word, but okay, right? So I'm quite honestly,
Oh, you're so funny.
whoever's listening out there, I'm tired of that joke, like truly tired of it. But I think that this right here, right, even having this conversation, the word doula, let's get that word doula. Let's make doula a
Yes. Let's
household.
make it normal. Let's normalize using the
Let's
word doula.
normalize having a
Yo,
doula, and
Danielle chose
everybody.
violence, child. She said the joke is not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's not funny to me at all. And let's normalize
I'm cracking up.
people knowing that everyone deserves a doula. There's not
Yeah.
a certain person.
Yeah.
My emphasis is on my people because I see that there is a need right now, right?
Mhm.
And I'm going to answer that need. But across the board, my love is for all women. It doesn't matter if you have a supportive partner. It doesn't matter if you took
Come on.
every class known to man. It doesn't matter if you were at your sister's birth and you saw and you. I got nurses that have not a clue about
Come
what's going
on.
on, right?
That's a
A
fact.
doula is there to support you, not just
Through and through.
physically but mentally,
Mhm.
and that support is necessary. Just because your partner is supportive, how many births has that partner been to? And if
Right.
you've been to more than 5, I have some questions, right? Like, what's going on, right?
What's
So,
going on?
it's not, a
Facts.
doula is for everybody, not
Right.
just those who are alone or who don't. I have clients who tell me I want an epidural as soon as I step foot in the hospital. Okay,
Oh, wow.
sure, right? My job is not to dictate to people the birth
Mhm.
that I would want. My
Mhm.
job is to make sure that they feel seen
Thank you
and
for
feel
saying
heard.
that, because I think there is somewhat of a misconception where people feel like once you're in it and you sign on to have a doula, you have to go forth in that thing.
No,
So thank you so much for saying that, because I really want people to understand and grasp everything you're saying is connected to the emotional part of it as well. Not
yeah,
just the physical part and actually birthing the child. It's making sure they feel okay. Mom is
yes,
okay mentally. That is
yes,
so important. It's
yes.
so important, guys.
Yes.
Wow, wow, wow.
So I think that I want that to be the takeaway, that I think people think doula and they immediately their mind goes to like home birth, hippie,
Mhm.
flowers, no intervention, when
The
that's not the
pool
case, right?
with the man
And
rubbing the
I
head.
have nothing against that, right? Because
Mhm.
I love a good home birth, right?
Mhm.
What I want folks to take away from this is that it doesn't matter what your birth plan is. I just want you to feel supported,
Yeah.
because or feel that you made the decision you made, and someone was like, listen, I'm here with you. You want an epidural?
Right.
Let's go. Doc, anesthesiologist, get in here,
All
right?
right, let's go.
Epidural. Or whatever the case may be, right? That's my job, is to encourage you to do um what's going to make you feel good, because ultimately, no matter what the result is, right, if you felt like you were supported, you're going to feel good either way.
Absolutely. So let me ask this. How is it set up where a person wants a doula, or they have a doula, excuse me, have a
Mhm.
doula, and then now they have to go to the hospital to give birth? Is it like energy where the doctors and the nurses and people feel some type of way because a doula is there?
Yes and no. I have had
Excuse me, sorry.
doctors who are great, and they're happy because they care and they understand. I've had doctors that are completely smug and ignore me and treat me like I don't exist. I've
Mhm.
had nurses that treat me like straight, ugh, just like I don't
Mm.
like.
Like,
I
why
had
are you here?
I had one nurse that said to me, I was looking at the screen, and we don't do anything medical, but I was looking at the screen. It has monitors the baby's heart rate and the woman's contractions. And I
Mhm.
was just glancing at it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, let me see. I wasn't. I was just
Uh-huh.
she's like, do you even understand what you're looking at?
What?
And this was a black nurse too. So I was like,
Yo,
you're supposed to be my friend, lady. Right.
that
And
is I
I was
just felt
I
that.
was like,
That is
no.
crazy.
I was like, no, I don't. Could you explain it to me? Like,
Yeah,
because
like now I'm being
I'm
a
super
jerk because you're being a
sarcasm
jerk.
is like my thing, but it was just like, it was such a slap in the face that I'm here supporting my client, and I'm getting like critiqued, and
That
she
was
asked me for my
rude.
certification. Mind you, I had been at the hospital at this point for
What?
I had been at the hospital at this point for almost 10 hours. with this person.
I'm done.
So we have those situations, but then I have situations where I get the midwives are a much better feel, right? Um, where they're so happy that we're a team, where
Okay.
they thank me and
Right.
tell me, how
So
wonderful
glad
it
you were
was
here.
to have this birth with me, and how well my client did, and how they don't feel like they would have done as well if I wasn't there, and just a lot of positive encouragement, and they
Mhm.
really look at it like a team. The doula, the midwife, the possible partner, the nurse, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
All coming together to support this mom in a different way. And so I think that it just really depends on the climate of the hospital and their attitude towards doulas,
Right.
the climate of the nurses on shift, and your care provider. And that's why I say the first thing you do is find a care provider that actually cares. Because
Yeah.
if they
How about
actually
that?
care, they will recognize like having a doula is a good thing, not a
Right.
bad thing. And I'm
Right.
not here to step on anyone's toes. That's not my lane. I don't catch
Right.
babies. I don't give medical advice. I don't
Right.
administer anything. That's not, I stay in my doula lane.
Lame. I know that's a fact.
That's it.
I love it. I love it. So now explain. I'm not even being funny, but explain, you know, how the setting looks. You said, first of all, explain what a midwife is, because we do have some men on here. Explain what a midwife is, and explain what the dynamics are with you and the midwife, and then the birth coming.
So a midwife is someone that is a certified nurse practitioner. They have to, excuse me, they have to go through a good amount of school as well. They are certified in delivering babies, in gynecological care, and they are also actually eligible to see your baby. And people don't know this, your infant, for up to 10 weeks of life as an acting sort of pediatrician. Yes, they are trained to do
Oh
that as well.
snap!
So
I know that one.
a
All right
midwife
now.
a midwife catches the baby. We have to get away from this language of so and so delivered my baby, because you really deliver your baby. Somebody catches your baby, right?
Yo,
Unless they go inside
I
your
love
body
her.
and
I
take
love.
over and push your baby out in a spiritual. No, you
It's the
delivered the baby.
details for me.
Somebody caught your baby, right? So a midwife will catch the baby. A midwife will help you birth your placenta out. A midwife is sort of has almost all the capabilities of a OBGYN. The biggest difference is they don't do surgery, they don't do C-sections. And that's almost the biggest difference, right? That
Right.
a GYN is considered a doctor.
Got you. Wow.
But there were midwives that existed long before they started
You
making
better say that.
folks go to school, and
Exactly.
they did a lot to dismantle the system that already existed, and the women that were the midwives in the village and had seen 300, 400 births, right, had
Right.
been there for years and years and years. So now we're trying to get back to mid midwifery practices, and that is a more holistic approach to
Mhm.
being gentle with the mother and not pushing for cesareans right away. And they always have a lower rate of cesarean, a higher rate of VBACs, which is a vaginal birth after cesarean. So if you are looking for, if that's the route you want to take, as long as it's a healthy pregnancy, a midwife is who you should make your appointment with, not an OBGYN.
Love that. Boop. You heard it here, folks, as they say.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love it. Oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed. Okay, so now your first daughter, takes the crown for shifting your life, so to
She
speak.
did.
And I love that, because I branded my oldest son as my lifesaver. I
Yes.
was in a very dark place, and if I didn't get pregnant, I probably wouldn't be in no much now. So I get it. Now, how many children do you have now?
I have 3 children now.
You have 3 children. So what was it like for your first daughter to realize, like, okay, mom is pregnant?
Hmm.
What is this going to be like? Because I'm the one who shifted everything. So now what is mom going to do as a pregnant woman?
Um, if anyone who's on here knows Sage, that's my daughter's name. She's really a special person. I'm not even gonna say she's a special kid. She's a
Right.
special person. I have never really met anyone the way that operates and thinks the way Sage thinks. Right.
Love
Um,
it.
Sage was gifted to me because she brought something to my life that I can't even describe. So when Sage found out that I was pregnant, she was very happy. She was very maternal right out the gate. There was this initial hesitation about me breastfeeding another baby. She told me to use the machine and take the milk out and put it in the bottle. And then when I
So what was
asked
that about?
she wanted me to pump. She didn't want the baby to be on my breast.
So
Even
what was
though
the conversation like when you had to
the
explain to her?
conversation was, how did you get your milk?
Right.
And I said to her, how did you get your milk? Did you get your milk from the machine, or did you get your milk from Booba, which is
Right.
the name in the house? And she said, from Booba. And I said, well, don't you think it's only fair that
I love
the
that.
new baby gets Booba too? Because
Love it.
you love Booba, girl. How you going to deprive me of Booba? And she came back to me the next day, and she's very philosophical, and she thinks, and she comes back and she said to me, I was thinking about it, and you can give the baby Booba. And
I give you permission, Mom.
yes. And I was like, thank you, Sage.
Bless your heart, my daughter.
I appreciate that. And so that maternal instinct
I
always
love
grew with
that.
her.
Mm-hmm.
She was never a jealous sibling. She was very intentional with her dealings with her new sibling. She was loving. She showed maturity. She was always concerned. And when they would go out together, anywhere they go, people immediately recognized how maternal. They would say, wow, we never
She's
saw
so
a
in
kid
tune. Yeah.
so like the way she is so motherly, and just she's always taking opportunities to teach him in so
Love
many
it.
things, even like life stuff, not just like, oh, your ABCs. Like, she'll explain things in such a way that she gets on his level, and the fact that she's smart enough to recognize, let me get on his level, not the way I would explain it to somebody
Ooh, she
my
sounds like my
age.
son. Love it.
She's on it like that. So no, Sage is very much my protege. I feel like she is going to be this. The world is only getting darker, and she's like this light that is about to come in and blast everybody away.
Love it.
And I'm happy to be. I feel proud that if I played any role in this,
I know
that
that's right.
this is my kid, right?
I love it.
So
Somebody says she really is the future.
no,
Somebody, Michelle, said that.
yeah, no, because that's why I said, like, if you know, because Sage she really, I'm blown away by her sometimes.
Yeah.
Even now, she's just so thoughtful. Like, she's very empathetic, and she loves birth. She always asks me questions about how did it feels for something growing inside you. And if my clients are due, she's always asked. We just recently went to a birthday party for one of my clients who turned a year old, and she's like, it's so great to see him a year old now, and how much he's grown. And I'm like,
She's like a little woman. A little
know?
woman. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, no, Sage was truly is truly a
She's a
blessing, and
gift.
had no issue
Yeah.
with the spotlight, having to do double duty and get on another baby. And then when her next sibling came along, she was even older, so she really got the opportunity to see me as a mother, right? I think when she was younger, she loved on Pierce, but she wasn't at the age yet where she started seeing me as a mother. I was just handling things as business. Now it's almost like she's taking notes.
I love
Now it's almost like
this.
she's recognizing, like, okay, I know when my time comes to be a mother, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna carry this, and I'm gonna have this, and
Watching
this
her
is how you
mom.
speak. This is how you speak to them, and this is how you care for your babies, and this is what you do. So now it's a different opportunity for her to see and learn what it is to be somebody's mother.
Oh my gosh, I got chills, child. I got chills. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Go ahead, Sage. I'm about to meet this
Yes.
Sage one day. She's gonna have to meet my son
We
too.
gotta have Sage on.
I promise you, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, he different too.
Nah, for real. She's really a
It
special
sounds
kid.
very familiar.
Yes.
Very familiar. I love it. That's awesome. So last night I had when you and I were having dialogue through Messenger, I mentioned something to you, and I don't know why I'm literally having a brain fart. But once again, I saw something on social media And I was like, oh, Danielle, yeah, I just saw such and such. I got to ask you about that tomorrow. And I was like hyped about it. Do you remember what that was? I know it was something connected
Can
to
I
the
look in the
placenta.
messenger? Will it be bad if I go back in messenger and look real quick? Will it
I'm
get into
scared
there?
it'll click off. I'm
All right, I
scared.
don't want to click
Yeah.
off. Okay,
So
no.
it was a different type of, basically the baby was home with the umbilical cord still connected, and
A
the mom.
lotus birth. You asked me about a lotus
Thank
birth.
you. Explain what that is.
Okay, a lotus birth is when the baby is born and they birth out the placenta after, and the placenta, the umbilical cord and the placenta stay attached. And what they do is they preserve the placenta, because placenta is alive, with different herbs and flowers until the cord naturally detaches itself from the baby. That's what
Right.
a lotus birth is.
So what is the purpose? Because I promise, I'm telling you, I be binging on these pages. Like, I just think, first of all, giving birth as a whole is just the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like engaged. I'm like in love with seeing it and in love with watching it. I promise you. I don't know, between the music that was playing in the background and then watching the baby's like look so peaceful, and then she's putting the ice on it, and then she put all the herbs, and I just felt so calm.
Yeah.
I'm big on meditation, and
Yeah.
also, so I just felt such a calmness, and he just looks so peaceful. But I'm like, what does it entail? Like, what is it
Yeah.
about?
So if you want my personal feelings on lotus birth, I think they are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they're a little pointless, and I'm gonna I'm gonna tell you why I think that. I'm gonna tell you why I think
Danielle is everything.
Okay.
Danielle is everything.
The placenta dies.
Right.
The placenta has no more nutrients after
It
it
falls
is.
off.
It has, not even when it falls off. Once, okay, so baby comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Cord is still attached. Cord is still throbbing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The throbbing of the cord is the transferring of the last bit of nutrients from that placenta to your baby. So it's more important that the cord is no longer throbbing before they clamp it, right? Because you'll see
Got you.
right away, they used to clamp the cord right away.
That makes sense.
Now they have something called delayed cord clamping, where you ask the provider to please wait until the throbbing has stopped, because that means everything that was left from the placenta that would be useful to the baby is now transferred over.
Mm-hmm.
The placenta is now dead.
That. Mm-hmm.
Right? So
I can't do Danielle right now. I gotta stop
the,
laughing.
because
I know her.
I know folks want to hear that there's something special about
I
it.
know. That's why I'm laughing.
But I cannot give it to you, because to me, you are just carrying around this dead placenta, and there is no nerves in the umbilical cord, which is what they cut, which makes your belly button, right?
Right.
There is no nerves. Nobody feels that. Baby don't feel it. You don't feel it. It's not even attached to you anymore, right? Placenta's out of there. And I find that it's hard enough that first week or two. I'm not carrying around this placenta. Sorry, I apologize. It's like,
I'm good.
I got 3 kids. I got a 6-year-old son. He done knocked over that placenta, and herbs are flying and blood. I'm good.
Danielle said, "There's other beautiful things to do."
There is other beautiful things to do. I myself am a placenta eater.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, what's that about? I know people do that.
So I'm looking, because they're gonna kick me out of here in a minute.
Oh my God.
I encapsulate my placenta, which means someone comes and picks it up after I have the baby, and they put it into nice little pills for me, and I ingest it that way, like a vitamin.
But why?
Okay, so if I like to look at nature and mimic that as much as I can. So one of the first things we see mammals do in nature once that baby comes out is clean the baby off a little bit, get that little cheesy stuff off, and then go and eat the placenta. Right?
Okay.
So for me, that seemed like it made more sense. We didn't see any mammals dragging around their placenta attached to the little babies for a few days, right? No
I
shade.
cannot with
No
you.
shade to anyone that has
I'm
lotus
tired
births,
with
right? Like
you.
I said, I appreciate the beauty. I think they're beautiful. It's
Yeah,
not for
it
me
is beautiful.
because I need purpose, right? So the purpose
Mm-hmm,
of
mm-hmm.
the placenta is it helps replenish some of the hormones you lost, some of the blood you lost, so there's
She
not such a
said cheesy stuff.
dip. Also, it helps with milk supply and it helps with your mood. And I definitely saw a difference of when I didn't encapsulate my placenta from my first to when I did with my
Wow.
second. And so, to me, the proof is in the pudding for myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure folks may feel, have their
Like
different
nothing
opinions.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
got you.
for me, I
Mm-hmm.
saw the difference, and so I continued to do that. And I really didn't want anyone getting my placenta besides me anyway. So even if I
Oh,
was
that's
going to just
right.
take it home, my placenta was going to get buried somewhere and have a little
Mm-hmm.
ceremony. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you nurturing my baby. I'm
Thank you
going to
for your
take it from here.
services.
I'm going to
I'm
take
gonna
it from
take it
here.
from here. I'm
Yes,
gonna take it from here.
yes.
I cannot. Danielle is something else. I
So
love, love, love this. Oh
yes.
my gosh. So, postpartum doula. You're a counselor. You are. How can I explain? I get deep sometimes,
All
but
right.
they telling you to get out.
They're not telling me to get out, but they close at 9, and I think I'm the only one in here still.
Oh my
So we got
gosh.
a few more minutes.
We got a few more minutes. Okay.
I'm putting
Let
my
me let
clothes
me
on so that they can
let me
recognize
start
that I
figuring out
see.
how to wrap it up. So
I think we're gonna have to
you
have another.
we have to. Like we have to. Like forget it. Cause first of all, I like dealing with energy,
I know.
vibes
I'm
and
sorry.
things.
I'm hugging you
So
in here.
yeah, no, it's all good. We definitely gonna do this again. But
Yes.
let me just ask you. We're gonna close out before they
Okay.
close.
We're
Um,
gonna close out before I get called into the bookstore.
so first of all, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm in awe of you. I am excited for you, girl. I'm about to get emotional. I said I'm not crying tonight. Um, I can't wait for part two. Of Miss Danielle Miller, the doula.
Yes.
Because I know there's so much more information that I had questions. I don't even have them in front of me. We going off the head right now.
Okay.
But what would you say? What is one thing you would want the viewers, the audience to remember? You know, is Danielle left me with this. What would you say?
Ooh, that's kind of like a hard question. Danielle left me with this. Um,
Like I will never be the same because Danielle said such and such that night.
I think that what I touched on before, as far as asking for support, doesn't make you weak; it makes you strong. I think that that's the part. I consider myself a strong woman, and there were times where I hesitated to reach out because I almost felt like that was going to take some of my strength away. And now, in my old age now, I realized
No old age child.
about 30, I'm about to hit mid 30, right?
Oh,
I
she chose violence. What?
I'm
What?
sorry.
Don't you tell her? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I, I I think that I realize now that asking for support is really a sign of strength, in that I was
Yes.
wise enough to recognize I don't need to carry all these burdens. Every burden is not mine, and that if I already got one hand with a baby in it, right, and I only got one hand left, and if I can get some other hands around me that love me and want to help me, then that's okay. So if there's any moms listening who are hesitant, often, especially even with breastfeeding, they don't want to make that phone call, or they don't. Instead, they go and pick up some formula instead of reaching out. That my advice would be: please pick up that phone call and reach out
Mhm.
first, right? Please seek out support and resources, and know that that's not a sign of weakness at all. That's a
Yeah,
sign that you care enough
you
to do so.
care. Yes.
Yes.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Danielle Miller. You know what I love? We're pushed through this thing. It was so worth it. I don't care what kind of junk they talk about. We couldn't really see. And no, we didn't get the worst part. Listen, God moved on tonight. I am in awe of you. I am thankful that you shared part of your story because we're going to hear another part at a later date. Because, I contacted her for two things. Also, she's a homeschooler. She homeschools.
I do.
So I wanted to. That's of importance right now as well to me. So I wanted her to tap into that as well. So part two
Yes.
of Doula Danielle Miller.
Yes.
We will come forth with other questions, and she will give us more. She will educate us more on all that she does. If you have questions in reference to doulas or anything that she shared on tonight, please email me at hotmicwladyshe@gmail.com. Tell the people where they can find you before we close out.
So you can find me on Instagram at The Breast Advice, or you can find me on Facebook at Doula Loop Birth Services, like hula loop, but Doula Loop. And you can hit me up on there, and I will always be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. What about the other one? Don't do fresh
We
milkies?
can do fresh milkies, but that's if you want to say hi to me and get a little glimpse into on Instagram at Fresh Milkies into my life. It's mostly pictures of my children's and some of my beliefs. But you're more than welcome to check out and get a little glimpse of who I am off of there as well.
Absolutely. I just love the names. You can tell she's humorous because the breast advice, I was stuck on that. I said, I love it. And I said, wait, fresh milkies? I said, I love her already. I'm like, this girl got to come
We're very booby oriented in my house. That's what we.
I love it.
We pay our respect.
I know that's right. Listen, everyone, please make sure you check out Miss Danielle Miller on social media. Also, inbox her, DM her. If you don't want to ask me certain questions, you can ask her directly, but I would love to hear feedback from you all. Thank you to everyone who came on. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and supported Danielle on tonight, because I know the followers had to come from her. So I was like, who? But thank you guys so much. You can thank the people as well. Absolutely. I'm excited for you. Listen, I can't say it enough. I'm in awe of you. I will continue to be praying for you, madam, because you are so vital at this time. I promise you. You are very, very necessary, at such a time as this with so much going on. So continue to be unapologetically you. I can't wait for our next encounter.
Yes.
And listen, everybody, she is my SHERO. Continue to support Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. Make sure you subscribe, share this live, bless somebody. Like, I wish somebody would have sent me this live 20 years ago, and I would have had a doula in that room when the lady was being mean to me because I look like I'm a little kid. You know what I'm saying? So bless somebody who maybe they're pregnant now, or maybe they went through trauma to their pregnancy and they haven't been the same. That maybe they're postpartum and it's gone beyond the child even being born, because that does happen. You can have postpartum beyond. You can feel some type of way not being attached to your child. That's supposed to be normal. So please, sir, please, ma'am, fellas, please send this to your wife or your spouse or your significant other who may be with child and they need to feel like it's okay to feel how they feel. Contact Danielle. Contact her, please, sir, please, ma'am. You do not have to go through this by yourself. Do yourself a favor and care enough about yourself and your child and the family around you and get the help that you need. The person who helped her to be who she is for someone else. Amen. Yes. So let's continue. Let's keep that same energy. Let's keep that thing going. Thank you so much once again, Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
I will see you again. And thank you so much for pushing through. Thank you, Sage. Thank you, Mom. Everybody who was involved with getting her outside tonight. I feel so bad because it's late. But yes, guys, don't forget to subscribe to Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. Follow me on social media. Hot Mic Lady She _podcast. Follow me on Facebook. Please, guys, send me your feedback. And it's a wrap. Everybody, thank you again and have a good night.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night. Bye.